Banking Risk Information Center says that victims of Stokvel robberies are often injured or even killed. And last week, the center sent out a warning to over 800,000 of these savings clubs in light of the approaching festive season. Now, during this time, members cash in on their hard-earned yearly savings. And to tell us more about this multi-billion rand industry, we're now joined by Andrew Lukhele, who is the chairperson of the National Stokvels Association of South Africa, or NASASA. Thanks so much for coming through.
Thank you very much.
So what is this Stokvels Association actually, what does it do, Andrew, your role in all of this?
Okay, I think we know that Stokvels have been in existence for many years. They've been existing as small entities, groups of 20, 10 people. We just realized during the apartheid era that the collectivity of Stokvels can achieve more instead of just being one little Stokvel here and there. You'll remember that around 80s, Stokvels were regarded as illegal in this country because the authorities didn't know what Stokvels were all about. At some stage, they thought Stokvels were competing against the banks. In other words, operating business of banking without licenses. So to address that misunderstanding, it was very important that we bring Stokvels together to shape the legal status of Stokvels going forward.
And what is it worth at the moment, the Stokvel industry?
Well, it has worked. I'll tell you something. People don't understand that Stokvel members, for many years, were operating outside of the banking system. People putting money under the mattress and all those things. It's only in 1988, with the formation of the association, that we facilitated a process which started to have tailor-made products for Stokvels, using the now defunct PEM Building Society. And all the banks today have one way or the other a banking product for Stokvels. So we played a role in terms of product development in that case. Yeah.
So as we speak, November 2019, what is this industry worth? And also speak to the robberies that take place.
Look, the industry is worth more. I mean, the people are talking about 50 billion rands that circulates among the Stokvel movement. Obviously, we're making efforts to facilitate financial literacy. I think some of the problems that we encounter in that industry is based on lack of information. People being gullible to quick money-making schemes. So we think we're making some inroads there.
Yeah. And there has been a concern, especially around this period as we approach the festive season, that people go and withdraw the monies that they have saved throughout the year, and very often in cold hard cash, and that comes with consequences like robberies and killing in some instances. So as the association, how prevalent is these robberies, and also what do you say to your members?
Look, it is prevalent given that you have different types of Stokvels. Remember, not all Stokvels have this problem. For instance, we have a burial society where people come together to ensure that people get dignified funerals. They don't have a need to withdraw money in December because the money is withdrawn when there's a death or something. But yes, we also understand that there are people who put money in January that must be distributed in December. We advise them against going to somebody's house with a lot of cash, sometimes getting into a taxi to withdraw money, and in between robberies take place. So we prefer them to go the electronic route. Maybe talk to the bank to ensure that people's money is deposited to individuals. They go to the meeting just to discuss discrepancies or whatever, but the money itself can be electronically deposited.
Do you find that people are amenable to that sort of suggestion whereby they forego the cash and rather do electronic transactions?
Yeah, gradually people are seeing the benefit of doing that. Remember, some of the problems have nothing to do with the electronics. It's the element of trust. I mean, how do I sit here and know about a Stokvel distributing money in Nelspruit? So somebody in the Stokvel must leak the information that there'll be distribution of money. So there are many factors at play here.
With your role as the association in terms of educating, as you say, you would try and urge your members to rather transact electronically as opposed to taking out cash.
Yeah.
What other role do you play in terms of educating people who participate in Stokvels?
Participating in Stokvels has to benefit Stokvel members. Remember, when you talk to a Stokvel, you're talking about a group that is in existence. They have already constituted themselves into something. They want to achieve something. You can only come in as an outsider, advise them to enhance the success of what they want to achieve. Now, let's take a case of a burial society. Their role is to bury people, but there's a tendency there which has a shortcoming. The money is saved in the bank. It's withdrawn in the event of someone dying. If there's a frequency of death, high frequency of death, it means the withdrawal will also be high. So the kitty will dry up at some point. So we educate people that there's an opportunity in sharing that risk with somebody else. The somebody else in this case will be an insurance company. To that effect, I can proudly tell you today that the association has an insurance company, which is a joint venture with another big insurance company that is owned by the association as well as members. So I think it's another element of empowering our members.
Which is absolutely fantastic. And, just a word of advice as we get into this festive period. And, of course, the withdrawals may happen. As you say, people may want to tap into the kitty for one or other reason. Yeah. What advice do you have for them?
Well, we advise people that they should go on the lookout for things that can go wrong. If there's an opportunity of having police around your area to patrol during the distribution of money, it can help as well.
And just before I let you go, there was recently this thing of WhatsApp Stokvels. Do you hear about that?
Yes, I do.
So talk to us about that, because it was the weirdest thing.
No, I think Stokvels are based on trust and peer pressure. So the basic tenet there is that we should know each other very well. We recruit people among ourselves. Now, in the WhatsApp Stokvel, people don't know each other. There's no regular meetings. There's no rotation that is typical of a Stokvel. So all those things are measures to ensure that nothing goes wrong. So if we do things electronically, the peer pressure and the controls that come with it don't exist. So it's a totally different ball game. And to call it a Stokvel is actually an insult to that institution.
Well, thank you so much. Andrew Lukhele, Chairperson of the National Stokvel Association of South Africa, talking to us about Stokvels and, of course, looking as we enter the festive season, how Stokvel members should be cautious when they have to cash in savings for this festive season. And as Andrew says, the main tenet here, the main component is trust. You only enter into a Stokvel with people that you know and trust. With that, it's time for the news with Lee.